Some people knock on your door asking for help. Others knock and act like they already own your house. That was HOA President Linda. She didn't just ask to use my lake cabin. She demanded I unlock it so her guests could enjoy the full waterfront experience. When I said no, she called me selfish, screamed about community unity, and even threatened to sue me for denying public access. What she didn't know? That lake cabin is on deeded private land. Her guests weren't entitled to anything. And what started as entitlement ended in her removal from office, a public HOA meeting disaster, and a brand new gate with a sign that says, "Private cabin, not your Airbnb." My ranch lake cabin. I live on a 40-acre ranch in a scenic part of the county with one very unique feature: a hand-built log cabin that sits right on the shore of a small spring-fed lake. All of it on my property. The HOA next door? Cedar Ridge Preserve, a 60-home gated community with wine moms, golf cart dads, and a president who thinks she's a queen. The lake partially borders their greenbelt, but here's the key. They do not own the water. They do not own the shoreline, and they definitely don't own my cabin. But HOA President Linda? She thought otherwise. Linda's first request. One Saturday morning, I was working on my dock when Linda strolled up with a clipboard and her signature iced coffee. "Hi there. The HOA is hosting a weekend retreat. I'd like the keys to your cabin so we can let a few guests freshen up between kayaking." I blinked. "The cabin's not for public use. It's private, not even part of your HOA land." She didn't flinch. "It's for the good of the community. We assumed you'd be reasonable." I said no, politely, firmly. That was mistake number one to her. The event arrives. 2 weeks later, her HOA Community Enrichment Weekend began. Tents set up along their side of the lake, music playing, inflatable paddle boards, and a small group of strangers walking right up to my cabin deck. I intercepted them. "Can I help you?" "Oh, we're with Linda. She said this was the refreshment cabin." I said, "Turn around. Right now." They were embarrassed, confused, but they left. Linda returns, unhinged. Later that afternoon, she stormed up the path, furious. "You humiliated our guests. You gave people keys to your personal cabin without asking me. I told them to leave." She snapped. "You're obstructing community enjoyment. You'll hear from our attorney." I smiled. "Perfect. Tell your attorney to review the county parcel maps." "You think you can hide behind paperwork?" "No, I can hide behind a title deed and the sheriff's number." I called the HOA board and the sheriff. I contacted 2 members of Cedar Ridge's HOA board privately. Turns out they never approved Linda's cabin stunt, were already frustrated with her executive decisions, and had no idea she had been handing out unlawful access to private property. The kicker? She had tried to list the cabin as a community perk on their event flyer. I also reported her attempted unauthorized use and public misrepresentation to the sheriff's non-emergency line, just to get a paper trail. The consequences. Within a week, HOA held an emergency board meeting. Linda was formally removed as president and issued a public apology to my family. They also sent out a community-wide memo clarifying the lakefront cabin and shoreline on the east side belong solely to the ranch property and are not available for HOA events or access. Now, the HOA needs written approval from me for any future activity within 50 feet of my fence line. Spoiler, I don't approve much. New gate, new sign. I installed a small gate along the cabin path with a sign that reads, private cabin, not your community property. And underneath that, this ain't a resort, Linda. Final thoughts. You can wear a blazer, carry a clipboard, even boss around 60 homeowners with fines and patio rules. But when you treat someone's ranch like it's your HOA clubhouse, you're gonna get shut down. Legally, permanently, and publicly. Because I don't owe you keys. I don't owe you access. And I sure as hell don't owe your guests a place to freshen up.